All right, Coach. I'll just have you start with your opening statement, just wrapping up this past week.
Shoot,
And
my opening statements is it's always funny how you're 10-9 and your team is struggling and this press conference is full today. But when we were 7-0, we had like one guy in here. It's always pretty amazing. Yeah, Saturday was a tough one. It was a tough week overall. Really felt confident and comfortable with having 2 games at home. But look, we just didn't do what we needed to do, and we haven't won a rock fight. I thought both of those games came down to a rock fight, and we just hadn't figured out how to win one of those. Those are games where you either got to make a big shot or you got to get a big stop. And when it gets grimy and gritty and tough, you got to figure out what it takes to win, and we just quite haven't been able to get there yet. So just kind of keep pushing the right buttons, trying to keep changing some things up and trying to find the right mixtures of guys at the right times. I've said this a little earlier, but right now, we got to figure out the defensive group, and we got to figure out, at what point you play the offensive group, and, just try to find a little bit of a better mixture in there, maybe where we're getting more defense in there, and hopefully that defensive group maybe can find enough baskets to score to help you win.
Julius got banged up in the last game. What's the latest with him?
He's fine.
Good. Okay.
Yeah, so he'll be fine.
I know you kind of touched on it there, but I guess just what's kind of the point of emphasis for you guys this week coming up?
Defense. Just got to play defense. We're right now we're giving up about 43% from the field in conference, 44%, and that's just in the conference season. Got to get that number down around 40%, and we're giving up 75, 76 points a game. It's hard to outscore people. Right now we're scoring 77, 78. I think at the end of the day I would have probably jumped for joy if I'd have known our team was going to score 78 points this year. Just right now we're just not getting stops. Saturday was a great example. We had a 3-point lead with a minute to go, and we went under a screen, we didn't contest, and guy makes a wide open 3 to tie the game. So those are the moments and the things that I've been talking about. You can always look at, well, this guy had a wide open 3, and this guy had a wide open putback, and this guy had a wide open this. But if you know anything about sports, you know that that's just the way the ball bounces. Those are going to go in sometimes, and sometimes they're not. But on the other end, you can control the fact of you guarded that screen right, or you fought to get there, or you didn't let that guy drive by you, or you missed the block out and they got the putback. Those are things that you can control. And right now, we're not doing the things that we can control. The shots, it's just part of the game, if that shot goes in on Saturday night, we win by 1, and, I'm the greatest coach and everything's great and everybody's happy, but it didn't go in. So you have to look back at what could I have done prior, the possession before, or what could I have done better on the defensive end to get a stop in order for us to win.
You said something after Saturday that, kind of a thing that you're trying to get some of the offensive-minded guys to understand, trying to maybe play more defense or keep the ball in front and things like that. Just what do you feel like those offensive-minded players that you have are maybe not getting defensively or struggling with defensively? What do you feel is going on?
I think it's just it probably goes back to the same word I used a month ago. You just have to have intestinal fortitude to want to do that. I haven't changed any philosophy, any teaching. I think if you go to Ken Palm and you look over my 16 coaching year career, you'll find that I'm probably in the top 50 in the country in all defensive stats. And, we're teaching the same. It's the same message. It's the same stuff. You just have to have that willingness and that intestinal fortitude to go do it. And, we just got to keep pushing the right buttons and hoping that we can get the right mixture of guys in there at the right times.
Heading into the Delaware game, what's one thing that you feel like you guys did really well in the last game that you guys want to replicate this time?
We shot the ball great there. Got off to a really good start. They're a pretty zone-oriented team. I thought we moved the ball pretty well early, made some shots, got some confidence. Now, moving forward, what we can do better in that game, I thought our defense was just okay. I know we gave them 68 points, but they had 2 guys that went off on us, and they have a really, really good ball screen mixture between those 2 guys. You got a good big who can shoot, and a good guard who can really get downhill and he also can shoot. And then they've got a third guard who's really good. They have 3 guys that are averaging, I think, scored 45 of whatever their total amount they score is from 3 guys. So we got to do a better job in this game of guarding them, stopping them, and look, we obviously have lost 3 games at home now. We were undefeated at one point, 7-0, I believe. Now we're 7-3, and we need to win out. We need to win the rest of our home games, and it's going to have to start on Wednesday, and we just got to play better.
Coach, with Delaware coming up, obviously a team you guys beat by 30 on the road. How do you keep your team composed, knowing like, hey, every game's different, and it might not be that easy again?
Oh, I think when you've lost 2 games in a row, and you're 3-6 in conference, I don't know what. That shouldn't matter, even though I agree, you've beaten somebody by 29 at their place. Our guys right now should be so hungry, they should be ready to go play today and trying to get a bounce back and trying to play better and get some momentum going into that huge 3-game road stretch that we're going to have to face. Being 3-6 and haven't played great on the road this year. And again, I think a lot of our struggles on the road kind of the 3 games that we've lost at home in conference were the same kind of games that road games are. They come down to rock fights. And, it's disappointing for me because, I think over my career, I think the one thing that my teams have always done is that they've always been teams that people haven't wanted to get into rock fights with. And, I think, there's probably a pretty good reason why we couldn't get a Power 5 game this year, besides they're not playing any quad 2-3 teams anymore, is because high majors and Power 5s, they don't want to play coaches that their teams are rock fighters. They don't want to play those kind of teams. And I've had a lot of my friends that are at high major schools that just basically come out and say, we're not playing you, because your team's going to guard, they're going to be tough, and it's going to be a nasty game and get down to the end, and we don't want to play those kind of games. And it's disappointing for me because for the first time in my coaching career right now, this team hasn't taken on that personality quite yet. And not going to give up. We're going to keep fighting and keep trying to get us to where we need to be, because if we can learn how to win a rock fight, then I think we can put ourselves in position to get to that tournament, and I think anything can happen because we've shown that we have the offensive firepower. Saturday's game was really weird because FIU does such a tremendous job of trapping your ball screens. And so, they trapped us early. We didn't get a lot of the great shots that we wanted, didn't shoot a great percentage. And so the second half started off, we were kind of doing the same things. And then, one of the coaches was like, hey coach, man, let's just go 4 out, 1 in, and let's just dribble drive them. And so that's probably why it looked like we were playing a lot of 1-on-1 in the second half, is because, their ball screen coverage made us have to spread the floor. And then we just started attacking the basket, and then we got lucky and we found a guy who just ended up on a heater, and you ride that. And so I thought Elijah, put us on his back. And, when you get a guy that's in that kind of moment like that, you just leave him alone and you give him the ball and you got to get out of the way. And he made a lot of great plays. It was a great suggestion by one of our coaches. I did that one year at Corpus Christi. They were doing the same thing to us. I spread the floor and we came back and won the game. And, we were an eyelash away from winning that game Saturday night. We missed a lob that would have put us up 5, and we missed a putback that would have put us up 5. Those are just part of the things, as I said, that happen in a game of basketball. But that on the other end down there, giving up that 3 like we did, that's not acceptable. And so we just got to figure that out.
Can you talk to me about Elijah, obviously signature performance on Saturday night, started the season coming off the bench, has worked his way into the starting lineup. Can you just talk to me about maybe what you've thought about his development or journey to get to the role he is, and what maybe you want to keep seeing out of him moving forward?
Yeah, Elijah's he's a very gifted, talented offensive player for sure. A guy that can go make something out of nothing. I think we all saw that on Saturday night. We were really struggling. He started off the second half, he turned it over about 2 or 3 times in a row. Real bad spacing, trying to do too much, not playing off 2. Got him out. When he came off the court, I know everybody always thinks I'm getting on guys, but there's a time and place for everything. You have to know your players. You got to know at what point you really need to get on him. I got on him early in the game because I felt like he was playing so well offensively, but he gave up like 2 super easy baskets right away, and it wasn't really setting the tone and the mindset that our team needed. So I really got on him early, and then he came up to me and he apologized, said, "Coach, it's my fault. My defense was terrible. I wasn't getting us off to a good start defensively." And then I put him back in. I thought he responded so well. Well, the beginning of the second half, I took him out, and I just said, "Hey, man, I'm going to set you out here for a minute. I need you to go over there. I need you to get a restart right here. And then when I put you back in, you need to be ready to roll." And, you know, we put him back in, and, I mean, he was amazing. Down the stretch, he was unstoppable. And, you know, he's really grown. I just think that, you know, Sam, the biggest thing with Elijah is a lot of kind of what we're really trying to get better at right now is a lot of what he needs to do better for us. And that is, you know, when you're a point guard, the most important thing is, yes, you need to be able to get the ball to the right people. And, you know, when you have a point guard like him who can really score, that's like icing on the cake. But the biggest thing that a point guard's got to do for a good team to win is he's got to be able to take the other point guard out. And, you know, that's my message to Elijah is just, he's just got to be able to defend that other guy. He's got to be able to stop him. He's got to create the inability for them to be able to get downhill and to get paint touches. And so my challenge to him is that every day, you know, continue to be a good teammate, you know, continue to be a better leader. All of those things are things that I think he still has some growth in. But no, he's come a long ways and super proud of him.
For Jacoby and Tyrese have kind of come in the lineup recently for you and becoming more part of rotation. What do you feel like they've added since then, and what do you hope to see more from them?
Well, I think Jacoby's pretty simple. You know, Jacoby, you know, everybody has something that we're really good at, right? You know, you feel like what you do, you're really good at it, right? Lawrence, he's obviously really good at something. Sam's really good at something. You know, I think everybody has something they're really good at. We all know Jacoby can really offensive rebound, and he's a great defender. And I felt at the time in our lineup that that's what we needed. And so that's why we stuck him in there. You know, we put him in there for those reasons. And it's always interesting. You know, I don't know if anybody got to see Grant McCaslin's interview about being a team and just putting yourself into the team, being selfless. And normally when you do that, all that other stuff that you really like to, it really starts to come true. And so for Jacoby, whether he wanted to be a scorer or not, we put him in the lineup and he does what he does. He plays defense and he offensive rebounds, and his points went from 4 points a game to now he's averaging 7 points a game. Isn't it amazing how that works? And so that's just really the message I have. You know, with Tyrese, I just really felt like we had to have some type of rebounding from that position. You know, I was really excited. Sear really had a bounce back. I thought Saturday night he played some good minutes. 7 minutes, whatever he played, he got 5 rebounds. He hasn't had 5 rebounds in the past month. And so I was excited to see that for Sear. But with Tyrese, you know, he just rebounds the ball for us. I mean, he got 8 rebounds, you know, last night or Saturday night. And I just think he just brought that to us and that presence. He's a little shorter in there, and obviously defensively, you know, when Sear's doing what he needs to do, you know, he brings a presence in there, but we've been really, you know, we've been dependent on Tyrese and rebounding the ball, and I think over the last 2 or 3 or 4 games that he's started, he's averaging about 7 or 8 rebounds a game, which is what we needed as a team.
Is that you feel like maybe Sear and Augustine can maybe see more minutes like they were by just rebounding and doing more?
Yeah, I mean, you know, listen, you play the guys that can try to help you win, and I think when you're not winning as much as we want to win, you try everything. You know, those guys all get an opportunity in practice. You know, sometimes they don't get as much of an opportunity in a game, but you got, when you're 6'9", 6'10", 6'11", you got to make layups and you got to rebound. And so if those guys do that, they're going to get an opportunity to play. You know, obviously Augustine's a freshman. He's got a lot to learn. You know, sometimes when you're a freshman, you take 2 steps forward and 3 steps back. And so he's got to continue to grow and mature. A lot of maturation needs to come with some of the stuff that, you know, he's dealing with right now. Is he's got to understand, like, scouting report, like, this is how we're going to guard this, and if you can't show us in practice that this is how we're going to guard it, then I can't stick you out there when the lights are on. And if you can't block out your teammates in practice, then how are you going to block out, you know, that 6'9" freshman at FIU who's going to be freshman of the year in our league probably. So all of those things matter. And, you know, again, Sear got an opportunity on Saturday. I thought he made the most of that opportunity, and so therefore that'll put him probably in a position to get another opportunity. And once you keep playing well and you keep getting opportunities, then, you know, hopefully you'll get your playing time back. Good. Yeah.
All right, Elijah. Just last Saturday, it was a career day for you, at least for here at New Mexico State. Just tell me just how you feel about that game and just how you want to build on it going forward.
I feel like obviously we should have won, and like I said before, I'm excited about the next game. Ready to get back on track, get another win. But I mean, it was an exciting game. Definitely was an exciting game, and I appreciate everybody that came out and showed support.
Elijah, just you know, for you, you started the season, you know, coming off the bench, and now you've worked your way into the starting lineup. Saturday night, you had a really signature performance this season. Can you just talk to me about maybe what it's taken from you personally this season to get to where you're at right now?
I would say just being steady, keep grinding. Like you said, I started off coming off the bench. Just not complaining, just trying to find your role on the team, and just trying to find whatever you can help the team do to win. But I would say, like I said, just steady grinding, keep getting us shots before, after practice, just sticking with it, sticking with the process.
What's something you feel, you know, you kind of want to improve on moving forward this year? We talked to Jason right now, and he mentioned, you know, you being able, great scorer that you are, but you being able to take the other point guard out of the equation in this game. I guess just from your perspective, how do you feel, you know, about what you can improve on moving forward this year?
I would say, yeah, definitely just like taking out the other team's point guard, but more so just being like a better leader and everything, being a better leader, being a better teammate. Yeah, I'll just say those things. Just try to keep improving on those things. I feel like those two things are something everybody can always improve on, no matter how good.
What are some things that you feel like you have done in recent weeks and months to get yourself into the starting lineup and now be a picture of it because you haven't started for the past several games?
I'll say just picking up, like you said, my intensity on defense. I mean, everybody know I can score. Just really trying to pick up my intensity on defense and just make the right plays. Make the right plays, go out there, make the right plays. If I'm hoping to shoot it, I drive, people help or whatever, just make the right pass.
Can you talk to me about why, you know, I feel like every player has a different play style. Some are good at scoring, some are good at defense, some are just good at rebounding. You're obviously a great scorer. How did you, I guess, like, you know, when did you realize you were going to be a good scorer on the court when you look back at your basketball journey?
I would probably say about around like 8th grade. That's when I kind of knew. Like 8th grade going to 9th grade, the high school coach of the high school I was on the team used to always come to like our middle school and just see like what kids got. And he just always tell me like I just got a real shot at making varsity. And it was really because of my scoring. So I just felt like if I could be on varsity as a freshman because of my scoring, there must be something.
Elijah, you're also come off a really big game. We talked about that. You stayed after the game to work on some of your shots. Is that something you always do, and how much do you think that's going to benefit you and the team going on for the rest of the season?
Most of the time, if I have like a bad shooting night, I'll come back to the gym later, like later at night or something, and just really get up some extra shots and stuff. But that one just really hurt. I felt like that's a shot I work on a lot. I really should have knocked that down, so I just felt like I had to come right after the game and just get a couple extra reps up on that.
Just looking ahead to this week, obviously you guys are coming off back-to-back losses here at home. What's the point of emphasis that's been made to you guys as you head into this next game against Delaware?
The point of emphasis is really just to stick together. We know we got really good pieces, just to stick together and just like double down on things that's being asked of us to do. And everybody just, you know, during their role and really finding like what we need to do to win, execute. Along with just, you know, giving the fans something to come back, a good reason to come back. Like we got a lot of support, and we just want to go out there and really just try our best to really win for the fans.
Hooten talked about, you guys have been in a lot of games that have been very close, and I can't remember the word you used, but like rock battles or something like that. Just how do you guys feel like you guys have been able, or what's the experience been like for you guys in these close games? Obviously, they haven't panned out your way recently, but what are you guys doing to maybe improve on winning those tight, rock contests?
Definitely just watching a lot of film, because like you said, we've been in a situation like this before. Just watching film and noticing what we did wrong in those moments, in those situations. Noticing what we did wrong, taking accountability of what we did wrong, and then trying to fix it moving forward, honestly. Because we're going to be in a situation like that again, and we hope for a different result.
So I guess from the general locker room feeling, how are you guys feeling after last week and knowing there's still a lot of ball to be played?
I'm not gonna say everyone's just feeling good, because no one should feel good after we lose 2 games in a row at home. But like I said, everyone's pretty optimistic. Like, we know we have what it takes to beat any team in this league, and we just gotta find out or fix those little problems that we have, like at the end of games and stuff like that, so we can be victorious.
As you guys have a lot of experience on this team, a lot of seniors, how much do you think that will benefit you guys as well?
I think it definitely will benefit us a lot. Like you said, a lot of us come from like different schools and stuff, so it's been good to just see how we're growing together and continuously getting better, which is important. Like, it's good to be playing your best basketball around like February, March. So as long as we steady improving and with all the experience and stuff we got, I feel like we'll be in a good, comfortable position.
Okay.